influencer, if you have your kawahalas, and so much more, man. Uncle Mo.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to take on the next session. It's going to be very interesting. First of all, a big hand clap to all people watching online. Let us appreciate them. Allow me to come up here. I'm not very tall. Now, the following people, I want to invite them quickly. They're going to first come up here. They tell us what they're going to talk about so that all of you can make decisions which session you want to go to listen to them. Yeah? Because we are going to talk all things that are, we're going to discuss influence, influencer situation in this country. All of you guys are influencers. All of you. You have your 200 followers. The fact that there are some people trying to follow you, which is unbelievable, is because some people believe in what you're doing. So we're going to find so many ways to find that you can make money out of the people that are following you online and so forth. I want to first invite the people that are going to lead the next sessions to come up and sit up here. Where should I start? I think I saw him. I missed his birthday. I only saw it in photos. This gentleman has had the chance to be trained by the likes of BBC World Service, the likes of VOA, the likes of... It is painful. And right now he's head of digital marketing at Transmedia. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Danze Edwin. And as he comes up here, I need him to, he's going to briefly tell us what he does and what he's going to talk about in his breakout room. Thank you.
Oh, I stand. My name is Danze Edwin John. People rarely say that John. As he has said, I do digital marketing, content production, producer, gamer, watch my show every Saturday on NDS Sport. I'm going to talk about building audiences, creating trust for your brand, and a bit of branding.
Yeah, the gentleman is going to be talking about, people should believe what you're talking about. Yeah, big hand clap for Danze. Yeah. And now the next person I want to invite, I had you people talking about people that are cashing in. No, this is the actual person that is cashing in. This lady, I'm proud to know her. She has worked, I think, with every Class A brand in this country. She's rich. She has to be rich. Ladies and gentlemen, media personality and lifestyle influencer, Faiza Fabs. So you're going to come tell us what you do and what we're going to be waiting to hear about when we break out into your session.
Hello. Hi. I've added some radio voice, so we can sit in the session. But thank you so much for having me. My name is Faiza. I will be taking on the session where we'll talk tools to build a brand that is paying and also a brand that is credible, a brand that people can trust for influencers.
Big hand clap for her. Yeah, all these things are very important because before you become an influencer, there's something you have to be doing that makes you a candidate to be an influencer. So those are the things that we're going to be talking about. And now I want to invite another one, Patricia Cahill, digital marketer and also social media coach. Yeah, here we are talking about experience. We're talking about experience. We're talking about Cahill. Ladies and gentlemen, let's also hear from her and what she's going to be discussing for us.
Hi everyone. How are you? So my name is Patricia Cahill. I run a digital marketing agency that specializes mainly in creating content, making money out of your content. How do you create content that resonates with people, understanding how content works? Because we all know you can be on these digital platforms, but the money cannot come through if you don't know who you're targeting. So that's the session I'm going to handle.
Content monetization, a big hand, the most important part. Now, the last person I'm going to invite, also very glad that this person is a good friend of mine. She is everything that my parents want me to become, but I cannot because she's a businesswoman, she's an actress, she's a dancer, actually when you talk about beauty icons in the country. Name comes up. I remember, oh God, was that Miss MTN? So many of you throughout your time watching TV, you've had 1 or 3 or 10 crushes. Ladies and gentlemen, businesswoman and fashion mogul, I give you Natasha Sinayobe.
Hello, my name is Natasha Sinayobie. I am an actress and an influencer, as they said. I am a model. I've been in the industry for a minute, but as I sit here, I'm also going to talk about what I learned along the way as I joined this industry. So I'll be talking about practices and tips, nuggets that an influencer needs to build a trusted brand.
Big hand clap. Yeah, before anything, people should be able to trust what you're talking about. Now, I have a team of people. Where's Patricia? Where are you? Yes, please just come in front, because we need people to be directed to the following spaces where we're going to be. The main event here is where we shall have Danzi. We shall have Danzi here for his session. Then we shall have Pfizer in the training room. So we will need Patricia to direct people who would be doing a training room session that's tools for journalists to build a trusted and paying influencer brand. Then we shall have the third room, that is Patricia Cahill's room. We're going to go to the boardroom. That's the room that is going to talk about the money, how to monetize your social media brand and content. Then the fourth, which is the TV studio space, that's where we are going to have Natasha talking about best practices, tips, and nuggets for influencers who need to build a trusted brand. Awesome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you might want to pick where you want to go, if you want to consult with me just to know where the room is, you can also come back here, or you can go to Patricia to get that done. Also, the people on the online, catching us online, you're going to be thrown to where you're going to be, I think, automatically. The machines will do those things for us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's break out.
So it's 5:05. Hi everyone. I'm going to introduce myself briefly. Danze Edwin, and in this particular capacity, I will be sharing some knowledge on audiences. So briefly, before I normally do these things, I would like to know who I'm talking to. It's a thing about trust and brand and audience. So I'm going to ask everyone to tell me their name as fast as I move the mic around. Good? Okay, one name.
Aaron. Kenneth.
Hannah.
Kavuma. Samuju.
Very low.
Ronald. Emma. Adore.
Moses. Okay. I want us to envision or try and put yourselves in the virtual space with exactly the things that we are doing right now. So let's imagine you're my audience. I'm trying to build trust with you guys. The fact that someone invited me to speak, I believe 20% of that has already been nailed, because the institution that has invited me here kind of trusts me to share some knowledge with you guys. So now let's try and build that so that by the time I leave, or by the time I show you some fancy slides here, you're able to trust what I'm saying. We're good? Okay, so there's a thing called a media landscape. Media is any form of content or any form of material or communities. A landscape is where it sits. Media landscape can be traditional or online. Traditional meaning radio, TV, print, out of home, etc. But I wanted us to focus mainly on the digital landscape for now. I'm going to share with you some global stats that are coming from a collaboration of companies, from Hootsuite, We Are Social, etc. So what you're seeing here is our internet usage over time in Uganda. As you can see, since 2012 to 2022, it's obviously increasing. That's common sense, right? But the thing I want you to focus mainly on is the word Feb 2022 up there. And then the month January 2022. Obviously, that means there's been a significant hike in internet usage in January 2022. If you looked at this slide next year in January, I would easily say it's going to be much higher, all the way to about 15 to 16 million people active on the internet. Next. This is social media usage over time, again, from 2014 all the way to 2022. Now, the other slide was quite obvious. There was a growth. But this one has had a hike, an interruption, and another hike. I'm sure all of you know what happened between 2020 to 2021. We're in a pandemic. Other nations in the world experienced a much higher growth between this period of time vis-a-vis us. Who knows why? Can anyone guess? Why? Internet shutdown. Exactly. The audience in Uganda was interrupted. They took something away. For example, right now, they couldn't have heard you because you didn't have a mic. That interruption there. But there's been a significant recovery in 2021, closing to 2022. You get me? Next. Okay. Now, because of the nature of the internet and the consumer right now, I decided to pick out a slide for Facebook for obvious reasons. We've had back and forth with this platform in this country. I want you to know that you could take my word for it, but sometimes numbers don't lie. At that time, 2.5 million people were active on Facebook. How many people are on the internet in Uganda, based on what you guys saw? About 13. Do you think we're utilizing the audience well enough on the internet for this platform? Get it? We're not even halfway there. Get. Okay. And significantly, the one thing that I want you guys to notice towards the end here is you have, on average, every single time someone is clicking on a post on that platform, it's 13 versus 13, male versus female. 13 men are going to come and interact with the same post as 13 women. But, if you look there, the share of male versus women who are active in communities has more women than men. So I won't stop there with the slides. So I want to engage you guys now. The thing about audience building is you must know the absolute facts. I needed to know who I'm talking to first, hence the brief introduction. If, who here is doing a business? Who here has a small business? Apart from you. Okay, anyone else doing something actively that they would call a thing they are doing, their personal business? Okay, what is it? I don't know if we can get this mic on. Well, that's me to do it, huh? Okay. So what's your business?
I own a band.
You own a bank.
Band.
Band. I was about to come and sit there. So you own a band. How many people are on the band?
7.
7 people. Do you have a particular kind of music or style or content you deliver to people?
When you say particular, it's a bit
For example,
wide.
there are jazz bands,
Okay.
things like that.
So mine is more of a contemporary.
Okay.
We only sing oldies when there's necessity. Like the event is for like elderly people. But usually most of our nights is contemporary music.
So
Western, local, Swahili, Nigerian, you get all the contemporary.
Do you have an idea what age group normally consumes your music from the band?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
which is?
Between 40 and 18.
18 to 40.
Yeah.
Do you think there is an exact age group that is for you between the 18 and 40, that bullseye?
Yeah.
Which is?
Does it have to be wide or one edge?
That one edge. Let's go for one edge.
25.
25.
Yeah.
Okay. What we've just done right now is we've defined our audience to the absolute dot. Now, I'm a journalist by practice. I'm a creative by training. People in media speak to mass. But like he has broken it down for you, there are different brands of media that are going to be delivering different things. For example, I'll use the not in any order. We have NBS, we have Bouquet Day, we have NTV, we have Salt, we have Smart BBS, so many TV stations. Do you think they're all targeting the same kind of person? Do you think they're targeting the same kind of age? Age? I would agree with them. Now let me give you something, an insight that you need to know. Your audience is broken down into two unique things, and it's based on our psychosis. You have the people that receive our messages. For example, you guys are receiving it right now. Who is the oldest person among you guys? He knows himself. Anyway, there are two types of people that are going to consume your content, your audience. The people that receive, they're receivers. The person that receives your message, do you think is the same kind of person who engages with your message? Do you think so? No. It's completely different types of audience. The person that receives your message is 25 to 34-year-olds. That's a standard across the internet. That's something that you should always know when designing your message. Danze has come. He has a product that is taking to a journalist. He has an investigative story he wants to do on tents not being delivered at Nyege Nyege, for example. You get it? When you're designing that message, you're going to design it for 25 to 34-year-olds. Why? They can afford a standard smartphone. They can afford a degree of data. They are probably the ones buying the TV set. They are the ones paying rent. They are the ones with the earbuds, etc. 25 to 34-year-old. The person that engages with your content is 18 to 24. Why? They still own handsets, yes, but they have the time to open TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, go to Nile Post, go to New Vision, go to Daily Monitor, and actively comment. Have you gotten the difference between the two? They have more time because the 25 to 34-year-old already bought the screen. Probably if you're the sugar daddy, you've bought them, the smartphone. You get me, eh? So those are the two things, another insight that you need to know about audiences. But remember what I showed you there, the 13 verses 13 and the 6 verses 5. It means more female 18 to 24-year-olds are going to engage with your content. You get? That's how you break down your audience metric. It's very, very easy, especially if you're dealing with the online space. Extremely easy. It's a standard across any region in the world because of how we've been feeding the internet and social media platforms with our personal information. You get? Okay. Now I want to talk about trust briefly. Statistically speaking, this is done by Ipsos and Deloitte. 55% of consumers of any product do not believe that the brand is being transparent with them. Do you guys agree with me? Do you believe that Pampers are the best for babies? Does anyone have experience with Pampers here? No. Do you believe that it's, okay, I don't even know the other brands. Okay, let's go to sanitary pads. There are multiple options. You have Always, I think it's Shuya. Do you guys have a preference when you're getting them? Oh, I'm speaking to the ladies here. Is there a preference? What do you base on when you're choosing?
So I think not that we've done personal research, but to each their own. So has mentioned different things they do, from making sure there is no leakage to making sure there is no odor or there is nothing like. So sometimes it is that you've been told, and then you make a preference.
Okay. Now let me talk about condoms. Again, I'm assuming all of us are adults here. I only mentioned 2 sanitary pad brands because to me, they're the ones I know. I'm sure the ladies know multiple other options. I'm not the target audience, but I am a potential consumer or buyer. Get it? Do you think that Always and Shuya have done enough for me to be aware about their brand? I would say yes. The other guys, no. They have not done it. So by default, those 2 brands have understood their target audience. Let's talk about condoms. The number 1 condom brand in the world is, you guys won't tell me. You guys could just mention some that you know. Singapore.
I had some guys saying Durex. I don't know if you
Durex.
Yeah,
okay.
I had someone.
Okay, Durex or Kiss, so many out there, Trust, blah, blah, blah. Why it's easier for me to mention multiple of them is because this is a product that is going to be consumed by either the female or the male gender. But the best possible, okay, who do you think gives the best insight on the best condom to use between a man and a woman? It's a brand question. Who do you think it is? Think about it very logically. Woman. Anyone else with a deviating answer?
Yes.
Who?
The man.
The man. Do you want to explain? Do you want to explain your answer? I agree with you. No, just go ahead, then I can also give my insight. There's nothing correct or wrong in this case.
You know, it's like food, because the person who's swallowing it is the one who knows.
The taste.
Yeah.
I thank you for coming. Now, no pun intended. But anyway, so research has been done again. Try and just write down Forbes or Deloitte key trends of 2022. You'll find all these amazing small nuggets and insights. Now, they've done research and they found out men buy latex based on advertising, but they on a large scale. For example, if I walk out there and I ask for condoms, I'm going to ask for Durex or ask for anything else that I've seen. But the woman most times will dictate because of how she reacts to this kind of latex. You get it? So again, we've broken down different types of audiences and we've talked briefly about brand. Durex is very engaging. They are designing their adverts or content for a 25 to 34-year-old, but the style in which they deliver it is so young and hip, like Red Bull does it on Nike, that they know people are going to talk about the fact that this advert was in this sense. You've seen the advertising, I'm sure. Even the innocent people here, you've seen. You've heard about it. So anyway, 55% of people don't believe in brands at all. It's very hard for you to go and to consume a new product. Like Rubis. Rubis recently entered the market, but there's always been Total, Shell, I don't know who else has been there. So many other places. But Rubis has come in a smart way. It has entered the market, but it entered using influencers, for example. You get it? Now, why they are doing that is because however much you guys, maybe you're going to be future anchors or media personalities or influencers, however much you're shielded by a big brand, Next Media, for example, people will never consume your content with full trust because it's coming from a brand. But from the 55% of people that don't believe that brands are transparent, there's a huge portion of 15 that believe they are somewhat transparent, and the other percentage doesn't. The biggest driver for messaging to your audience right now is, one, you. Secondly, is the person that influences you. And then lastly, it's a brand. Have you understood that? It's very hard for you to have known about me that I do digital marketing without me having said it with my mouth. I have no proof of it yet, but the more I speak about it, understanding data and numbers, you begin to believe, and it can't be a one-time interaction. It has to be continuous. Hence someone saying, for more, go on my social media and see the insights that we do share. So every time you're designing a campaign, or in case you have a brand, or you have a story that you're going to tell, it can't be a one-off delivery. It's impossible. That is why you hear teasers, leaked news, trailer has dropped, then official trailer, movie premiere, public screening. The big brands do this deliberately because no one is going to tell you that the next Black Panther movie is going to be amazing. Part one was the bomb. We have no guarantee that it's going to be another 900 million USD dollar movie when Black Panther 2 drops. That is why they put in the work to sell you the product periodically. And they're not selling it to you using the Marvel brand. Have you noticed? People love Chadwick Boseman. They know Black Lives Matter movement exists. So they sell you the character vis-a-vis the product or the brand. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about loyalty. In audience, in brand, then one of the biggest drivers is loyalty. There's a reason as to why every time at 7 p.m. people switch to NTV Akaongezi to watch. There's a reason as to why every day in the UK, okay, 7 p.m. our time, or 9 p.m. our time, people switch to Sky Sports News to watch football highlights or sports highlights. There's a reason as to why some people in the US right now prefer Fox versus CNN. The loyalty that has been built on the trust that you have been delivering a certain promise. For example, I'm sure you guys some of you may have issues with Nike, for example, but personally, because I love shoes so much, if someone was to ask me randomly from let's say from the States, what shoes do you want? I'm sure Nike is going to come in your head. It's going to sneak in somewhere there, you get it? It will sneak in because they have consistently sold the promise of just do it. So get a brand message. Get something that you're going to stick to always. MTN, everywhere you go. Airtel, the smartphone network. Very deliberate words that they are saying for a very deliberate audience. And that creates loyalty. Messi versus Ronaldo. Get it? Loyalty is the one thing that's going to make you put out a very rubbish product and people are going to consume it without asking any questions at all. There's a time I bought spaghetti. I think it's Santa Lucia, something like that. So I had been buying it for a very long time until one of the maids told me, why don't you buy the original? I'm like, what? I'm like, no, like I brought it out and I put it there. So I realized one is Santa Lucia, the other one is Santa Lucy. But same, okay, I can't say same taste because I'm just eating at that point. But you get loyalty. I was saying, this is it. For example, I am unfortunately a Manchester United fan, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a pity. But like football clubs, they've consistently delivered to their lowest possible expectations. But the loyalty is there. And because it was built at a much younger stage. So the last thing I want to leave you guys with is this. Remember, 25 to 34-year-olds are receiving your message. 18 to 24-year-olds are engaging with your message. Stop using big words in your messaging. Dumb it down a bit. You can talk about gender-based violence to a younger audience without using heavy words. It's extremely important that you focus on the engagement of your audiences versus how huge it is. NBS, NTV, KTN, Citizen, they have huge numbers of followers. But you're going to find a small account, okay, smaller account in this case. I'll use, let's say, I'll use Uncle Mo, I'll use Ivan, I'll use Bradley, I'll use the people that I know in my faces, delivering much more effective content and getting higher engagement because it's very targeted, because they have a loyal following, and because they are delivering it to, or they are delivering it in a style that makes sense for engagement. So every time they ask you, "Hey, I've put up my post, but it's only getting 2 likes. Because you've used the word, let's see, what word can I use? You've used oil and gas as your heading, or petroleum conferencing to get all those big things. Like the meme is, there's this thing NBS does. They have this standard word they use, the word disseminating, get those things. The moment we began to dumb it down a bit, because if you're going to talk about Kakwenza, just type topic discussion on Kakwenza. We are not going to die. The audience is going to understand it. They will engage with you. People are easily put off by colors, the words we use, the audience you use, or the person delivering the message usually turns them off. So there's a few things I need to share with you guys about audience trust and brand. And remember, you first, your intended audience, and brand last. Always. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Danze. Another round of applause for Mr. Danze. Any questions? All right, questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Danze. My name is Hannah Rinaitwe. I enjoyed this session. So I do have a few questions. What exactly should be our aim when it comes to growing our audiences? Should we look at engagement more than following?
Okay. One by one, so that I can answer it. Okay. I forget I'm an old guy these days. Okay. The most, let's try and be as practical as possible. When you open a tap, 1 drop comes out first. It's a must. That's just how gravity works. From that, it spreads out. Every time you stop that tap, that flow will be static. When you open it again, it's always that 1 drop that comes out first. Focus more on engagement at any given point you have. Are you on Twitter?
Yes.
Have you noticed again, you're going to find something so relatable. The tweet will have 30,000 likes, 200 retweets. And when you click on the account, it has 70-something followers. Design for engagement versus audience. But if you're an influencer, the best formula should always be a big audience that is highly engaged and is very loyal. You will always outdo me with my small numbers and amazing content. That's the unfortunate bit. Because if I'm selling a soda and I come, let's say I'm a Pepsi, Mountain Dew, my sponsors, I'm Mountain Dew, and I come to pick between Danze and Hannah, and then you check our online community or following, and I have a bigger one, and then say you have a smaller one. Because of how the nature of brand is, I'm going to gravitate towards Danze first because he has a bigger audience. But when I begin to understand deeper things that she makes better content than I am, I'll say, okay, I'll move towards her. But then this guy has high activity, Danze. I'll keep on bouncing back and forth. The best mix is to have a huge, very highly engaged and loyal audience. If you don't have it, go for engagement.
So they work hand in hand?
They can. The best formula would be that. For example, do you drink alcohol?
No.
You drink soda?
Yeah.
What's your best soda?
Pepsi.
Pepsi. Why? Coca-Cola is another option. Why do you like Pepsi?
I don't know, because I see it a lot. Like I see Pepsi.
Do you
not
think,
even the taste, not even about the taste.
do you think there's a difference in the taste?
No.
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 But you said Pepsi first. You really need to think about it. Yeah, okay?
Thank you. So this one is a bit in relation. So people say seeing consistency. But one of the things I've experienced as a content creator is there are times when I post very consistently, but the engagement is less. And then there are seasons where I'm not posting consistently, but the engagement is higher. Does it go back to the content?
Bukenya, Could you give me that other slide that you didn't show? There's another slide about platforms. No? You'll have to skip. There's a platform slide somewhere. He's going to get it. Don't just stop. There's some information I don't want to see here. But now, you need to understand the platform you're on to always figure that out. It's best that I practically show you here, because it's the same thing I suffer at the park. Because we have so many on-air talent and media personalities, we put them under so much pressure to be on social media. We don't tell them where to be. It's not important. It's important for your content to be present across all social media platforms. It's not important for you to be on all of them. No, it's a different one. It has bars and percentages. It has bars and percentages. You'll have to skip forward. Now, consistency is good for YouTube. Okay, go, keep going, keep going. Keep going. There we go. Okay. Okay, this is the formula I use always, because I figured this is I don't want to use the word a local audience brand, but Sanyuka is targeting the mainstream audience. Because it's targeting the mainstream audience, remember I showed you 2.5 million people on Facebook. The mainstream audience is on Facebook for obvious reasons. Now, you need to break down your platform use. You cannot be good at all social media platforms. It's impossible. I've never found a human being that is that good. Even Ronaldo, he gasses beans on TikTok. The numbers are not that big, get it? But he's niched on Instagram. Have you noticed that almost all the A-list celebrities are big on Instagram first? Because it's images, short videos, and other influencers. They found their space. But you've realized they consistently post, or their teams consistently post on those platforms. Your consistency should be based on the habits of your target audience. For example, I love gaming, I love movies, I love a bit of digital marketing. I know those people are active late in the night because they are on Twitch, they are streaming, or because they're in other regions. Ugandans that don't really like esports that much, but I know Kenyans, South Africans, people in the US do. So I post that content at that point. Deliberately, consistently. That's when consistency matters. The reason as to why you're having hits during certain times is because the content was relatable. You get it? Relatability brings more engagement. For example, there's a tweet I put out about the lines on the road. I was honestly not sure what they were for. I just asked. But I knew there were like 60 dancers out there who also have no idea. The tweet blew up because people were actually curious. They just waited for someone to speak. So consistency is based on the habits of your target audience. Are they awake at night? At 9? Are they using an iPhone? Are they women? Are they below 18? All those things. Yeah.
Sorry, I have very many questions. The last one.
Let's take just 2 more questions and then we'll be done.
I would like to find out from you about the, you talked about the, how did you call it?
You can use anything to describe it. I'll get it.
Sorry?
You can try and describe what I said. I'll just try and...
You mentioned the areas where we should actually be more specific when we are doing our brands. Then you talked of the not geographic area, but
the demographics.
Demographics.
Yes.
Yeah, but you didn't elaborate more.
Okay. It's a pity I don't have that slide. But think of the best way for you to design a consumer portrait. This is now we're dealing consumer portraits. Sorry, Bukenya, I'm going to ask you one last time to help me reverse. Just go back to target audience. There's a slide behind. You've skipped it. It has clouds. Go ahead. Ahead. This. First, go ahead again. Okay. Now, there are multiple things that define this bottle before it becomes a brand. I deliberately undressed this guy because, one, this is just a water bottle now, but this is a Renzori mineral water bottle. The consistent words are just bottle and water. You need to think about multiple things when designing a message for a brand or for a persona. First, go to the previous slide. Okay, they have so much going on in their heads. Pepsi is whispering, Coca-Cola is whispering, Red Pepper, everyone is telling them something all the time. They are loyal to some brands, yes, but if someone gave them a much better option, they will take it without hesitation if it's designed well for them. For example, think about how they are getting their information. Is it on phone first, radio first, newspapers, or TV? Think about where they live. It matters a lot. There's jam coming towards this side. So meaning that person has a lot more time to keep on checking their social media because they're in traffic, but only after work hours. So you also need to think about that. Not just because they're in traffic, but they're in traffic at 5 p.m. Think about their internet usage. Yes, you have 13 million people on the internet, but what about this Jane? How much data does she use? Is she using Freaky Friday or not? There's so much you need to think about, even how much money they earn at the end of the month. So, next slide, first go ahead. So, after you think about all the things that are bubbling in their heads, you then ask yourself, how do they behave online? That's what I was trying to hint on. They have a smartphone. This is how maybe you will describe it in the long run. They have a smartphone and they use it for WhatsApp, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and an app. Your messages should stop there. Don't think about LinkedIn in this case or any other platform. You've figured out where they are. Content type they want is short clips. And that's a standard across all. You've seen Twitter has also brought scrolling clips. Dramatized both political and entertainment, non-serious, trendy content, shareable content. And then the data consumption is, they are price sensitive. All of us are price sensitive. Even the CEO of Next Media is price sensitive, but at a different gap, okay? Then they are data consumers. They look out for data deals and combos. The time they are consuming your stuff is weekends, and they spend a lot of time during the week on the internet. These things explain themselves when you take the time to understand what's in their heads always. Get it? And that's why always avoid designing campaigns for you. You, the marketing manager. No. If in your agency there is a 16-year-old and your campaign is for 16-year-old, ask. Forget the books, forget CIM, what, bitchy. Ask. The trend is right there in your face. Okay.
All right. We have 3 minutes, so quick question.
My question is around, if you are getting into the market, you have new concepts that you want to try out, but you're not sure that the audience is either going to take them or not. How do you listen to your audience and then you're able to build up on those concepts all the way up?
If you're going to go to the market with digital marketing, for example. Okay, traditionally we normally used to do Ipsos and all those things, research data, whatnot. It's easier on the internet because we give away our personal information for free. You get it? So utilize data analytic tools. 65% of the good ones are all free. Brand 24, for example, free. You have social bearing, free. You have, let's say, which one can I give you guys that's not going to... Look at Meltwater, but not the agency version. But Brand 24 and Social Bearing are going to give you good insights. You simply go, for example, on socialbearing.com. You're trying to go into the market. Maybe you're giving out Infinix. And you know Infinix is for 16-year-olds. Which 16-year-old is very active on social media? What's their handle? Put their handle in there. It will break down every single thing for you clearly. Secondly, when you're doing market research before going into the market, ensure that you're utilizing the best kind of questionnaires. It's extremely important that the questions you're asking seemingly are many, but are very detailed. Someone is going to take 5 minutes to fill out a form if it is engaging enough and if they are actually learning something new about themselves. And thirdly, influencer marketing is a thing, but get the right influencers. Don't go and get Uncle Mo to influence shoe polish. You get it? But if you got him to do what he's doing with Prudential and Stanbic, it's tried and tested. You're seeing the ripple effects. Don't get me Danze to tell you about the best medicine to keep your pancreas fine. It will make no sense. So, and also, guys, it's okay to copy and paste. It's very, very fine. But make sure your delivery is relatable to your target audience. Okay. Hopefully I answered. Sure.
All right. Thank you so much. Another round of applause for Mr. Danze. Yes.
As our speakers take their seats, I'd like to invite Hannah Arinaitwe, there's a big hand clap for her as she comes up to just give us in 1 minute, tell us, what went down with the room that had Danze Edwin.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. My name is Hannah Arinaitwe, a student at Makerere University, third year. I also work with Power FM as a music curator and a radio presenter. So our session with Danze was a very good session, but the biggest point that we picked out is understand your audiences in the different social media platforms. When you do that, you can know what they want to engage in and what they don't want to engage in. Thank you.
Awesome. And now for someone to just give us a quick recap of what happened.
Picture. The camera person. Panelist Olivia. Who are we?